Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at NECA's Gargoyles DEMONA. Figure that I know many people were very excited about, and I'm happy to say, overall, they did a really good job. It's probably even a little bit better than Goliath. Probably a little bit easier to work on since it's a little bit smaller. Not as bulky, but I think they did, it's in line with Goliath for the most part, slightly better in a few places. Definitely a few issues, though, that we're going to have to talk about, so let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This figure stands just about, let's say, 19 centimeters. That's going to not count the very top of the hair. That's going to be about 7 3/8 inches. Has some serious size to it. You want to do a quick comparison? I'll grab Goliath for you. There you go. There's Goliath. There's DEMONA. She's probably too tall. Like, definitely, most definitely. Because here's the problem. And this is something I don't know if everybody noticed, but Goliath tends to have a significant bend to his digitigrade legs, whereas DEMONA almost always does not. She stands mostly with her legs straight, like this. Goliath usually stands like this. And they did not make him tall enough considering that. If he stood straight like her, he'd be taller, and the scaling would be better. But if you're going to pose them the way you would want to pose them, if you want her legs straight, she's going to be too tall. If you want to bend her legs like his, then she won't be, and you could probably fudge it somewhere in the middle, give her a little extra bend, him a little bit less, and then you'll be okay. But that is something to consider. That's probably not something most people would ever even care about or notice, but unfortunately for me, I've paid a lot of attention to things like that in making Gargoyles figures in the past. So, very happy to have these, and unfortunately I just have to notice things like that. Now, we do have to do another comparison because a lot of Marvel Legends collectors ask for size comparisons, so it's only fair that I use the best Marvel Legends action figure to do a size comparison. And there he is. There's Darwin, right up to DEMONA's chesticles, a little bit taller. So now you know. Okay, before we get into the review, we have to do a quick question of the day. Do you want NECA to make more versions of Gargoyles figures? Like right now we have this version that's coming out, and they are more or less, I would say, based on the comic. It's not the comic designs, but it's not quite the cartoon designs either. Would you guys like to see cartoon designs? Like, NECA's really good at that. They've been doing the Turtles. I would love to see some really cartoon-looking Gargoyles figures. Like, get rid of all the ripped muscles. Give them the bulk. I want that. I mean, I really like these too, but I really, really want the cartoon designs. Let me know if you guys would like that. That's the question of the day. Okay, and by the way, if you answered that question of the day, it's very helpful for the YouTube algorithm. The more interaction there is, that is better. It's definitely a good thing. Plus, if somebody says something very interesting, I usually pin the comments, so that's pretty cool too. Alright, let's talk about the aesthetics on this figure. I love the color, I love the paint job. It's super subtle shading. You can see the abdominal section is a really good example of that. There's really nice shading going on this figure. It's very, very subtle. It may not even pick up as well on camera as it shows in real life, but it looks great. Far better painted than Goliath. His shading was a little iffy. Her wings are painted really nicely. The purple in there looks great with the black. Looks wonderful. The blue matches her skin tone very nicely. Goliath had that issue. Her clothing is painted really well with that wash on there. It gives it a nice grimy look. It's pretty darn good. I like it. I like that they did the metal anklet. Is that what it's called? That's cool. They did metal earrings as well. Those look really good. It does bug me that they left this one plastic. I would have said just do them all plastic. Other than, like, maybe do this and this plastic and then do the earrings. Do them all plastic or do them all metal. This could have been metal too. It would have been really cool if they were all metal, but having the difference, it does bother me, but that's mostly probably just my OCD. The claws are painted separate. That's nice. The face, I think, is a much better 3D realistic interpretation than Goliath's. His was very gaunt and kind of sunken in. Hers is nice. I think they did a really good job with that. She's kind of like attractive and also not, and kind of like evil looking. Like they got the look right on her, I think. And the paint job is wonderful. The eyes are dead on center. The lips are painted well. There's shading in there. Her little tiara thing is well done. The hair has the black shading on there to kind of imitate how they did it in the cartoon. Very, very good looking figure. They got the aesthetics done really nicely. There is one thing I want to mention. They do have the back of the wings kind of shiny metallic. The front, not so much. Very pleased with the overall look. I do think, and this is going to make me sound pervish, and I can't help it, this is a review, I have to mention the things. I do think her bust is maybe not as busty as it should be. She's fairly not busty. Like, granted, the outfit makes it look like she is, and they even sculpted in some, like, there's some underboob going on. Mine, unfortunately, is mispainted down there, and everybody knows underboob's wonderful. But I want to say that it's like she's usually pretty busty, and she's not quite as busty as I think she should be. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not a pervert. It's an accuracy issue. That's all. Although there is one other thing I have to mention, which is not pervy at all, is her arms are slightly weirdly proportioned. Very long forearms, very short upper arms. Women tend to have longer upper arms and shorter forearms than men. Their elbow's a little bit lower relative to the rest of their arm, as opposed to men. Men have shorter upper arms and longer lower arms. So it's strange the way she is sculpted, just a little bit. Once you pose her, it either will hide it or emphasize it. I'm not sure yet, I haven't tried. But yeah, she does have long forearms. I'm sorry I pointed that out and have now made you look at that on your own figure. But otherwise, she does look really, really good. And I would say just try to find a pose that hides it and you'll be fine. So I'm going to give her an aesthetic rating of 9.5 out of 10. She's damn good. It's a good one. I like the way they went for the hair shading. It's not perfect. I have a big bald spot back here. It's not great to have that, but they really nailed this one. The paint is so much more finessed than it was on Goliath. I love it, and the sculpt is nice, so very good. As far as accessories go, we do have the alternate faceplate we have the normal one that comes on her in the package. Then we have the yelling one with the red eyes. It's pretty good. I think that's good enough. That's all right. I don't know, the eyes look a little weird to me, but it's not bad. I think they should be more red than white, but maybe I'm remembering wrong. I'll put a note in the video. It looks really good though. I like it. Okay, for the hands, we have the wide open hands that come on in the package. Then we get some fist hands and like a trigger finger hand and a secondary gun holding hand. So that's pretty cool. We get 2 crazy ass guns. I don't know if these are from the comics or the show. The only gun I'm familiar with for her was the one that I modeled forever ago in the cartoon style. So I don't know, but these are really nicely done. And then we also have her recipe book, which is very nicely detailed on the outside. It does unlatch and open up, and you can see some fake words in there, and it's pretty cool, nicely detailed. I like that. That's it for accessories. So one thing I want to say is I do think, since she's a much smaller figure than Goliath, it wouldn't have been unheard of to include her a second set of wings. Include with her a second set of wings. That would have been cool. The cloaked wings. I still want just the half open wings. Just the triangle A-shaped wings. That's what I want. Hopefully we start getting those, but we don't have it. So accessory wise, still a good spread. I'll go 8 out of 10. Very, very nice. Now, let's talk about the articulation. The head should be less encumbered compared to Goliath. Let's see. Oh, I'm very scared about grinding this against the wings. I still don't want the hair to transfer any color. So let's see. Yeah, the head moves around really well. And the hair is very soft compared to Goliath. So, like I said, I think they are learning. It is a double ball peg, so you can get that head to move around however you want to. Just be aware of the hair. It is an age-old problem of figures with hair. It gets in the way, and when they have wings, it's extra problematic. So that's a thing. But she can definitely look straight ahead / up much better than Goliath, so that's cool. Her shoulders, which by the way, aren't tiny little low shoulders that make her look weird. They're nice and muscular shoulders that sit nice and high, because female superhero type characters can actually look like female superhero type characters. And so her arms go all the way out to the side. You might be able to get a little bit more range if you really push it. You're going to have your full rotation, no problem. Bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbow. Let's see what happens when we just bend the bottom one. Uh-oh, it's kind of stuck. It bent the top one. No. All right, well, that one's bending mostly the top one, a little bit of the bottom one. Yeah, you're not going to notice the forearms as much, the length of the forearms as much once you pose them. Let's see if I can get just the bottom one to go on this side. Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be okay. I think you'll be fine. You won't notice it too much. So the double jointed elbow does give you plenty of range. If you use both joints, it's like all the range. So that's good. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge. Gun holding hands are just your standard horizontal hinge. So that might be necessary based on those big goofy guns, I'm not sure. Her torso joint doesn't go any farther back than that, probably to make sure she doesn't fall backwards too easily. Leaning forward. Oh, she goes very far forward. I like that. I much prefer going forward than back, so that's cool. Side to side, very nice done. Oh, this is a really nice ball peg. I'm pleased. Waist twist is a waist twist. That's fine. Hips are on ball sockets. Could be tighter. Definitely should be tighter. That's the kind. Ooh, we didn't even take her out to dinner. That's the type of joint that definitely needs to be tighter. Luckily, she's got a tail to help her stand up, but they're very loose. So going out to the side, though, you get really good range. So that's fine. And then going forward, it's not the best range going forward, and this loincloth gets in the way. So that's going to be somewhat limiting in posing. You do get a thigh swivel out of it. That's fine. Double jointed knee will work, I'm sure, no problem, but we'll check it. Yeah, plenty of range there. No problem at all there. Nice stiff joints. Ankle. What happened here? There's blue paint on mine. Ankle goes all the way back and all the way forward. Toe joint goes all the way down and about that far forward. And you get an ankle rocker out of that and a swivel / ankle rocker out of that. So that's a little bit of a steep angle. Nothing they could do about that. You should be able to get her legs posed pretty well. And then if you want to bend them a little extra to get her in scale with Goliath a little bit better, you'll be able to do that. And that's not unreasonable either. Like, they're not super bent, but she's often drawn with her legs straight. Nothing I can do about that. And then the tail, same as Goliath, it does have the hinge, which I wish it didn't, but it does, because that does indicate that you want to use that hinge. But if you bring it so that the hinge is facing down, if you rest her on the tail, it tends to do that, and she could fall backwards. So I tend to rotate it sideways and then have her lean on the tail so that it can't fold backwards. Then she can stand up much more easily. But yeah, it's a fine spread of articulation. The loose hips aren't great. Everything else works pretty well. Can't really complain. Had to talk about the wings though, and I am going to complain a little bit about that. They did do a better job than they did for Goliath, so that's a good thing. They actually have separate things in there that don't have anything to do with the sculpt, so the wings aren't resting on the sculpt at all like Goliath, so that's a good thing. However, when I push this one all the way in, it loses some of its ratchet. Like, the ratchets are pretty heavy, big gaps, so it's a little bit limiting in that regard. But watch what happens. See how it's holding straight right there, basically horizontal? When I push it all the way in, it dips. And the ratchets are a lot softer. So I don't know, maybe that's just mine, but something about the way that joint works, it doesn't work that well. And on this side, it's holding fine. I don't know if I could push this one in any farther. Yeah, I did. Let's see. I don't know what's going on in there. It seems like maybe just don't push them in all the way, because that's making a lot of noise. That sounds like it's actually engaging the ratchet though, so I don't know what to tell you. Be careful with those. It's weird. And then of course they do have the hinge, which works nicely, but is also problematic on a shelf. So yeah, I mean, for what they are, you can't really get much better. I think they just need to kind of keep refining the way they actually connect to the body and then how that articulation works, but it's fine. So yeah, I'm going to give the articulation on this figure 8 out of 10. I like the neck and the torso a whole bunch. The only thing I'm really bummed out about is the loose hips. So that's it. So, final verdict on this figure. Easily the best Gargoyle release yet. That's not saying much because it was just Goliath, a repainted version of Goliath in Thalog and Bronx. So it's not really fair at all, but still, she is a really, really solid figure. If you were at all thinking about getting this, I would definitely recommend it. If you weren't, maybe you should think about getting it, because it is a really solid release. I'm going to give this figure a 9. Should I give it a decimal point? I think I might. 9.5 out of 10. It's a really, really strong release. I love the paint job, the flat colors, the shading, the super subtle shading. It's just wonderful. This is the type of collectible we need more of. Not this garbage. This. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's fine too. Give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.